Hey everyone, my name is Olivia. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am a stay-at-home mom of 3 and I homeschool my 11-year-old son, my 7-year-old daughter, and my 1-year-old daughter. She is 16 months old. I share homeschool things and mommyhood things, some food, intentional living. Today, I am going to be sharing my 7-year-old's second grade curriculum choices for this next school year. If you're interested, I do already have my rising 6th graders curriculum choices for this next school year up as well, and I did it in the same way where I don't have my hands on all of the curriculum yet. It is incoming, and so I just didn't want to push off sharing what these picks were any longer, and so I have left some space up here and I'm going to be sharing up here what it is that I am going to be using. Everything will also be linked down below if you're interested in taking a closer look at it yourself. For this kiddo especially, most of the things, almost all of the things are new, except for math. So I'm going to start with math. Math, we are doing Rod and Staff 2. So I have full videos and explanations, flip through reviews, and like a follow along lesson videos of Rod and Staff 1, and I will share all of that in all of the places. Rod and Staff wound up being just such a great math curriculum for my daughter. It clicked instantly. We had done a couple other things. We had done The Good and the Beautiful. We had done Math with Confidence. I have chit chats about both of those in a video or two, and I can share those down below about why I think it just didn't really work for us. I'm not trying to bag on those companies at all, because those companies work wonders for so many families, right? But that's the reason why there's so many curriculums out here, so many choices. There's all sorts of different ways your child can connect to certain curriculum. I happened upon Rod and Staff and it went so great this last year. So much so that my daughter said that math was her very favorite subject of first grade. I have a first grade wrap up where she sits next to me and she shares some of her opinions about the different curriculum that we used for her first grade year. So if you're interested in seeing from her point of view what we used, what we're moving on from, that sort of thing, go ahead and check out that video. So my full intentions when I bought Rod and Staff in the first place was because I had not had to purchase a first grade math curriculum before, nor a kindergarten curriculum. My oldest was in public school for curriculum. My oldest was in public school for kindergarten, and he's pretty advanced with academics, and so when I decided to homeschool him for first grade, I had already purchased a second grade math curriculum for him, and we have loved Singapore Primary Mathematics US Edition ever since. And so I have second grade through 6th grade, and it is such a great curriculum, a great program, and my intentions were to just use what we had and start teaching her with the second grade, the Singapore for second grade. So I needed something in the interim that was a first grade curriculum. Math with Confidence was not our jam. I came across Rod and Staff. It stuck so well. It stuck so well that I can't switch her right now because it's working so well. I know that Singapore has its own way of teaching. If I did want to move her to Singapore at some time in the future, it would probably have to be 3rd grade. We couldn't wait any longer than that. So I'm gonna have to just see. I don't want to just use something on my shelf because I have it. If it was just financial restraints, I would totally move her onto Singapore because it does work well. But if this method of learning for her is clicking, especially with the foundation stages of math that everything else just grows and develops on, I don't want to switch her right now. So Rod and Staff for math. So for science, I happened across this curriculum in an Instagram ad. Side note, Instagram ads get me all of the time. All the time. I am the target consumer for what Instagram ads was created for because they get me all of the time. That being said, I came across this company and I have never seen anybody that I personally follow on YouTube or on Instagram in the homeschooling community mention this. And if I do follow you and you know I follow you and you have used it, I'm honestly blanking because it looked brand new to me. And it is Journey Homeschool Academy. So this last school year for first grade and also for kindergarten, we had used Memoria Press's enrichment curriculum as part of her school year curriculum, and there is a science component to it. It's not a full-fledged, intentional, structured science curriculum, but for this stage and this age of kiddos, it's just tidbits of information, which is all I was looking for. This year, I just know that she's just like voraciously taking things in. And she's also that kiddo who just kind of has that intrinsic motivation to kind of just sit down and get her schoolwork done with and then be done for the day and can play or do whatever she wants to do. She really does not need a whole lot of me sitting there and redirecting and making sure she's moving through a lot of these subjects. And so I wanted to get her an independent science curriculum that was a whole science curriculum. That is its intended use in our homeschool routine. I came across this company. They look so fun. It is from a biblical worldview, and it has video-based learning as well as notebooking or like workbook work. When I realized I wanted to do more intentional science with her, I looked through all of the curriculums, all of them. We do have a Blossom and Root that my kiddo was using in second grade as well. We have second grade through fourth grade for Blossom and Root science. And I really actually enjoy their science program. If you're not familiar with it, I also have a flip through and review, and I can leave that down below. It takes a little bit more from me than I think I'm going to be able to give this next year, honestly. With a toddler in the house and some of the other sit-down things that I know I'm going to be needing to do with my upcoming second grader. So I had looked at Life Pack and, oh my gosh, just like all of the science curriculums. And they all just didn't quite have what I wanted. Life Pack was mostly workbook based. And while I liked the content of it, I wanted her to have more than just I'm learning from what I'm reading and then I'm writing down. And there was some other curriculums that were more video based, and then they didn't have a lot of engaging workbook, and it was just kind of like keeping a journal essentially of something that you had touched on in the video. And I really just wanted something that was in between those things. Something that had, I could read and write and then also take things in visually and what she was hearing from the videos. And I haven't used it before and I haven't seen any reviews on it before, but I'm diving into it. So they have 3 levels, A, B, and C. A is the elementary level, and that is one of the levels I'm purchasing for her. They have astronomy, and they have biology, and they have earth science. I am getting her biology this year, and if we like it, then I intend to move up to earth science and then to astronomy. I know that's often rearranged. When I was looking at a lot of second grade work, they often start with earth science and then do biology and then do astronomy or some combination like that. But I know that I think she would like all of them, honestly, but I know she's really gonna like the biology one. So that's the one I'm getting for her, and I'm really excited for her to have this. This is work that she can do mostly independently as far as I've seen from it. I don't know how much work she'll need from me. Maybe ask me how to spell things or something like that, because there's the video work and then there's some workbook work, and she doesn't need help sounding anything out. So she's going to be able to do that. I know that she'll be able to write on her own as well. I'm really excited for this. I obviously will update you. I will definitely share a flip through and a review once we have dabbled in it a little bit and let you guys know. But that is what we are using for science for her this upcoming year. So I had touched on Memoria Press a little bit already, that we had used it in kindergarten, first grade. I couldn't help myself, you guys. I bought the second grade enrichment curriculum too, mostly for the readers and the read alouds. I also did buy the science and history, the supplemental package for that. I don't intend to use the science and history lessons really in the workbook for Memoria Press. Essentially, I just got her a bunch of read alouds. And this girl loves read alouds. She goes through every shelf of the library, loves picture books, and that's essentially what it is. And while she's still in this stage, I am just trying to feed that as much as I can capably do for her that way. And so every week, I think it'll be fun for her to have the literature read aloud and then the science or the history component that accompanies it. And then maybe I'll just have her do a little journal entry of both of them in a notebook, that sort of way. I just love that program so much. It really was kind of a case of FOMO because the books looked so fun and beautiful for this next coming year. Even though I have a whole bunch of other language arts things that I purchased for her. I know that this sounds like a lot, and I'm going to admit right off the bat that it kind of is. I don't know in what capacity we are going to accomplish all the things. I'm going to take what I need from some things and leave other ones, especially, so let's take language arts, for example. So I purchased grade 2 of the language arts program from Purposeful Design. Purposeful Design is also, it comes from a biblical worldview, and it is workbook and then spelling and there's a teacher guide that goes along with all of that. Again, once we get into it, I'd be happy to do a flip through and review for everybody. This was a very hard one to get a read on in the homeschool world, on YouTube and on Instagram. I looked through the samples and I downloaded, you can download a sample week of lessons. I love the grammar components in here, and my daughter loves spelling. She mentions that in her first grade wrap up in the video that she sat with me. She loves spelling. It has a spelling portion of it. It also has phonics in it, and it has reading comprehension, and it has writing. One way that I know we're gonna be able to include a lot of this is she does not need phonic instruction anymore. So we're no longer using Logic of English foundations, even though we could have wrapped up with D and finished the entire series, but she just didn't need it, and I wanted to get these other things in, and there just is not a whole lot of time in the day, and I don't want her at 7 and then 8 sitting at the table forever doing work just because I know she can't, like just one more thing because I know she can't right now. I want her to still have time to play. So this is really for grammar instruction and writing composition. So some of those lessons will be shortened a lot because we're not going to have to get through all of the different things. I know it also has some sort of vocabulary component to it. I'm not sure. And it also has an option to buy accompanying readers with it. Not doing that because she reads above a second grade reading level anyway. I know part of that is going to be part of like the reading comprehension portion. I don't know. We'll see how it goes the first handful of lessons or so, if I feel like we're actually missing out without the readers or not. I'm not super worried about that portion of it because I bought something else. I bought some novel studies, and I know that that's going to have some component of reading comprehension in it in some sort of way anyway. I had a really hard time choosing between this and Rod and Staff for their English, for their grammar, and their writing composition. I don't know why I chose this one over it. I feel like they both had so many pluses, and the Purposeful Design curriculum I feel like has more in it, and it's in color. So I know it's going to be a little bit more engaging than Rod and Staff is, and I hope I don't have buyer's remorse. I do think it's going to be a great curriculum. I do, because I looked into it so deeply. I looked into all the things so deeply, and I've seen other people speak about Rod and Staff for like the English instruction, and it does look really nice. So that's why, but we'll see. I'm happy. I think that it's going to be a good fit. She definitely needs intentional grammar instruction now. It's just not something we've really covered in full. It was a little bit in Logic of English, but she needs more before we move on. And especially since she won't really need a whole lot of assistance with reading the directions and that sort of thing. I know that we can really just focus on what we need to with instruction. She'll be able to do the rest in her workbooks. So to wrap up the language arts, I did buy 2 novel studies so far from Lit House Learning. So I bought the level 0 of the novel, The Very, Very Far North, I think that's the correct title of it. And I came across this company when I was had not cemented on moving beyond the page for my oldest for this last year, his 5th grade year. So what was that, like a year and a half ago now. And I thought that they looked so great. I didn't wind up doing any of them because we used Moving Beyond the Page. And then I saw Ode to Abode speak about them, and so they've kind of been bookmarked ever since, and I just didn't get to them. But I knew this upcoming year that I was going to want to do something like this with my daughter and have just read alouds with her. I got to do so many just one-on-one read alouds with my oldest, with my son, and I haven't really been able to do that with my daughter other than, we read books at night and we have a family read aloud, but not a novel study just meant for her. And so I did want to do this. It is recommended on their site to start with a level 0 package no matter where you think your kiddo may be, and so that's why I picked one in level 0, and then I picked another one in level 1, and that is The Greatest Gift. It's one of the Heartwood Hotel. My daughter loved reading the first in that series of the Heartwood Hotel, and she's poked a little bit on her own in the second one, but she hasn't gotten very far. There's just so many books in her room that she wanted to read up and get through, and she's still reading up those books right now. It's like a constant stream. Between her and my 11-year-old, our library has received so many book requests. So anyway, this one looks so sweet. So I got a level 0 and I got a level 1. I'm gonna see how those work. I'm gonna check them out, see how my daughter does, see how they fit in our homeschool days and our homeschool weeks. I do think that she could probably accomplish some level 2 stuff also, but again, I wanted to start with 0, move up to 1, see how it goes with those 2. I'm really excited. If these wind up working out for us, then she has so many great options on there for the novel studies. I haven't used them, so I can't recommend them as far as how I like them or what I think about them, but there are some really cool books on there if you are in the market for novel studies yourself. Okay, I think I covered everything. As far as history and social studies, we are just going to be learning via reading the picture books that go along with the Memoria press piece. I did buy the book of crafts from Memoria Press as well. Those accompany the read alouds from the Enrichment program, and so she can do art that way. I also have purchased all of the Lily and Thistle packages and plan to make those accessible to the kids so that they can just get on and do them if I'm doing stuff with the toddler. My daughter does ballet and gymnastics, and she's also part of an Awana program, which is a kids discipleship program that is just so much fun. My kids look forward to it starting back up every single year. It goes from September through May. Ballet starts back up in September. We're in and we'll continue doing gymnastics now. So those are some of the extracurricular things on top of the different homeschooling groups that we get together and go on hikes and go to parks and do all the things. Yeah, that is what I have planned for my 2nd grader for this upcoming school year. If you made it through that whole video, thank you so much for staying with me and sticking with it. If you guys have any questions about any of the things I mentioned, please feel free to leave that down below. If you have used anything that I mentioned in the video, whether you used it and you really enjoyed it or you used it and it wasn't for you, I would love if you could leave that info down below also. That's super helpful for me and for anybody else who is also new to any of the curriculum that I mentioned in the video. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.